Hello everybody and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn and I'm here with the fantastic Josie Young, and we'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are streaming and creating and having fun from today, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Josie, how are you going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Really good.
That's good. That's good.
You guys can hear me, right? I just want to make sure that my microphone's coming through fine, because for some reason I can't hear myself in my own headphones, which is a good thing because I hate the sound.
Oh, that's
of my
weird
own
though.
Voice. It's weird.
It's a bit disconcerting though.
It is. It is. Just gotta check that everything's going okay. But yeah, we're here. We're hanging out. It's a bit of a different session. This is the last stream that we are doing all year. So I'm excited to be hanging out with my friend Josie. We've got Johanna looking after us in the chat and confirming that you can hear us. Okay, cool. And yeah, we're going to do a 2-hour stream today as well, or thereabouts. We'll see how we go. Called Rollout, Roulette, which is something we've actually been talking about, for months now, I think.
Yeah, ages. We've been toying with the idea for a long time.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, what a great time to do it and do something a little bit different here at the end of the day. But there'll be design stuff. You can ask design-related questions. We'll be spending most of our time in InDesign, which is Josie's weapon of choice. What, like 90% of the time? Is that like, what's the ratio of like InDesign to like other apps, like maybe Illustrator or Photoshop for you?
I guess it depends on the project, but I always start in InDesign because I think I'm the quickest in InDesign
Right.
in terms of just throwing things down and testing things out. But in terms of sort of finessing things and finalizing things, it really depends. Like if I'm working on illustration sort of things that need the tools of Illustrator, obviously I'll be doing that in Illustrator. And if I'm working on photo-based things, Photoshop's there for that.
Yeah.
But print and layout InDesign is the go-to. And I do not speak of the others because I'm not skilled enough.
There are no other apps for Josie.
Yes.
So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, super cool. Well, it's been a while since you've been on as well. So just a couple of things to catch up on. You had an amazing session at Adobe Max, which is, again, one of the reasons why we were speaking about doing Adobe Live so very long ago, because, God, I think you must have recorded that in like June or something like that, like so long ago.
I think so, yeah, like August or something. But yeah, thank you.
Comes out in, came out in October for Adobe Max. Go check that out. I'm sure Johanna will share a link for that in the chat. And, it was super well received. It was really lovely to work on that with you. As always, it's always fun to work with you. And then, yeah, here we are. But do you want to give us, like, the audience who might not be familiar with your work and what you do, maybe a bit of a background of yourself?
Yeah. So behind me, my background. No, I'm kidding. Aha! Sorry, the dad jokes. Honestly, I'm going to lean into the dad jokes today because it's the last stream. We're just going to be silly. It's happening. Yeah. Background is that I am traditionally a graphic designer. Throughout my career, I've dabbled in some copywriting, producing bits and bobs all over the shop. And now I'm an independent designer and sort of kind of working across branding and campaigns and copy and just trying to keep things interesting and keep things, keep a bit of variety in my working life, which is fun. I used to work at an agency called Christopher Doyle & Co. I was there for 5 years, left there in February this year and have since been out on my own. Yeah, I think that's a good enough rundown, maybe.
You failed to mention that you recently jumped off a boat, which is very impressive.
Yeah, that was fun. I got invited to a Christmas party on a boat Tuesday. On Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful day. We did the thing where they drop the anchor and you go for a swim, and the mood just hit. I was like, I'm on a boat, the weather's good, I'm going to jump off the boat. And I did that and got really dizzy from doing that because I don't know why, but it was a lot of fun. It was great. I don't often jump off boats, but when in Rome, jump off a boat.
Oh, whatever floats your
Great.
boat. And what's up, everybody in chat as well? Hey, Rin, how you going? Great to see you. If you're watching over on YouTube, jump over to behance.net/live. That's the chat that we usually use. Some interactive stuff coming up as well, so you get to choose your own adventure a little bit. I don't want to give too much away, but should we segue kind of into Rollout Roulette and what it is,
Yeah,
how we play, and all that sort of stuff? And you've got this whole, I'm always so impressed, you've got this like whole deck, like this whole thing sorted out. So I'm going to fade over so we can check this out. Everything meticulously planned out, very beautiful, laid out nice and clear. I love it.
I hope that's the case, because this is our first time doing something that aims to be interactive with the audience, and it's in InDesign, so it's obviously not an actual game show, but we'll see what happens. That's the plan. And like, as Flynn mentioned, we've been talking about doing something like this for a long time, because we've got the live chat, so therefore there's interaction happening. And I feel like the beauty of design and working in design is that you're constantly sort of adapting to new requests and things changing. So building a sort of Adobe Live out of that feels sort of natural to do. So this is our first attempt at doing that, and it's going to probably like be really not bad, but it will probably just be very amateur, and it's going to be fun and silly. So let's just like lean into that fact and have some fun with it. I'll just quickly mention from the get-go, so everyone is pronouns are she, her. I'm working from Gadigal Wangal country, and acknowledge that this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. And yeah, that's my little upfront maintenance. And yeah, this is Rollout Roulette. Roulette really, because who knows what's going to happen today. There are a series of choices, of which I will explain shortly. But I'm Josie Young, as you all already know. This is Adobe Live. Again, you already know that. You're going to play along at home, hopefully smoothly, maybe not. Well, we're just going to give it a red hot go. It's mostly going to be nonsense, because the nature of what we're about to do cannot be like that real. So we've just made up stuff to just have some fun with. Everything we're using today, apart from the fonts that are in like my presentation deck, everything else comes from Adobe stock. So the fonts within the made up stuff come from Adobe Font Library, and the images as well. And I was going to say colors, but colors are colors. So that would be weird if I was like, these are Adobe colors, because that's not right. That doesn't make sense. But I did grab inspiration from a lovely website that Johanna sent me, which she can link in the chat, of color palette inspiration on the Adobe website. Mainly going to use InDesign. Depending on where we end up in the rollout land, I might dabble in Photoshop to, you know, extend imagery, depending on what's needed. And we'll be working with supplied assets, which is, you know, the tried and true reality of the designer life. And then we'll be rolling out things to various formats. Not a lot, because we've got 2 hours, but, you know, just a glimpse into the life of a working designer. And perhaps we'll be taking a client request at some point. I don't know what's going to be happening. Something has been paired by Flynn and Johanna for me to take on board, just like what happens in the real world, where you get a phone call from a client and my internet connection is unstable.
I was just about to say life. It's gone a little bit funky. So, internet's gone a little bit funky for a sec.
What can I say, Flynn? This is sorry. Is everything okay for real though?
It is actually going a little bit crazy. You could try maybe tethering from your phone. That's often a good solution if that's easy to do.
Okay, how is it now?
It seems good. Seems okay for the moment. I'll let you know how.
Because I had the stream. Yeah, I had the streamy open in the other window so I could be a part of the comments, but I can let that go.
Yeah,
that
maybe let it go. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. I'll let you know. There's always the backup is always just to kind of tether from your phone, which is always crazy to like our American friends. They're like, how is like tethering from your phone better than like Wi-Fi internet? And it's like, because our internet infrastructure is bad.
It's terrible, and unfortunately that's not an option for me because I have terrible reception in my house. So
cool, that's right. Wi-Fi it is.
I'm so sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It seems to be a bit better.
But yeah, as for the client requests, it might be a special guest. I actually don't know, so we're going to see about that. And this is the teaser campaign edition. If this goes well, there'll be future editions, differently themed. But the spaces we're working in today is around building a teaser campaign. This will make more sense soon. How it works is that we've got 2 chapters. Chapter 1 is about developing the A3 campaign visuals, which consists of deciding what brand we're working with and what those assets are, what brief we're going to work on, what image we're going to be working with, and what messaging we're going to be using. Chapter 2 is then rolling that out, the final product of that, to some social assets, some out of home, which is what OOH stands for, which we can also just go, ooh. Wow. Ooh. Like that's maybe what you're going to say about the work that I do today. You might go, ooh, or in a good way or a bad way, because who knows what's going to happen. And then we might make some digital banners as well. We'll see how we go for time, because I do have some tokens that are kind of in place to tell the client we need more time, because this is a real life situation happening today. Color coding for the wording is that green is gameplay, blue is designer, and orange is client. And I'll be playing the roles of each of those when they appear on screen, because improv is my passion. This is how we'll be deciding between the options. Option 1 will appear on is it your left-hand side? Right-hand side? That side of the screen. Option 1 is on that side of the screen. Option 1 is there. Option 2 is here.
Right.
And then decisions will be made. Johanna will be the gatekeeper of this, and discussions can happen. And then, I'll sort of lead. I'll discuss things. I'll read out the intricate details of the options that we have in front of us, and then we will choose and move forward. Is this so much fun? Yay. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready to make some decisions?
Let's do it.
Let's roll. Let's roll our roulette. Woo! Okay. Gee, I really got myself a busy little schedule. Which client should I dive into today? That's WoW or Softies? Which brand assets do I feel like working with? That's WoW is nice and bright and colorful. Softies is really cool and edgy though. What's it gonna be?
So these are 2 different directions that we can choose to go in. We'll go in one or the other.
Yeah. And that's the brand tools we're going to be working with for today.
Okay, cool. So keep in mind, everyone, while you're watching this, like, which direction you might want to go, because we're going to ask you as well. So you get to choose.
Yeah. And we're going to choose now and then move forward with that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're there.
Quick decisions. We're going to make quick decisions.
Okay.
What's the general consensus? What do you think, Flynn?
Softies.
Okay. Nice, I support this.
So this is all we know about the brands at this point, right? Is this name? That's all we know?
This is all we know so far. So we don't have a lot of information to go off, but we've got some really interesting type choices to work with. We've got really strong headline typefaces for both. Again, both of these came the Adobe fonts. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. This is so great. I wonder why
Isn't it like amazing
today.
timing? We're like chatting for like 40 minutes before we go live and everything's totally fine. And it's like, hey, if you want to be live,
Everything's fine.
just make sure everything's closed that you don't need if there's any applications open and stuff like that.
Yeah, I literally have nothing else open. Look,
no other
I've
like
got 2
devices
windows open.
on the, no other devices around. You can even like put your phone
Nah.
on airplane mode in case it's trying to like sync stuff with
Oh
the cloud
yeah,
or something.
I'll do that.
While that's happening, just let us know. I think it's softies so far, but we'll give you guys like another like little bit of time to cast a vote.
This is fun. I like this. I wonder why it's softies. We'll be conducting some like psychological experiments after this.
What's the font that's used? I assume it's a font that's used for the logo.
It is. So that font is, everything is live here. Family and friends. Woo, we got a rainbow wheel. This is great. This font is called Amador.
I've used that one before, which is very weird because I don't use that many fonts, but I really like it.
A great little black letter. And perhaps we can use this in the creative as well as the like logo type. Because it's fun, it's cool, and the fact there's a fun color palette with a black letter typeface is something nice that we can play around with and work with. And we've got a nice soft, edge to the image boxes, which could be interesting. We have no idea what the brief is though, so what the heck are we in for? The body copy is really lovely. Maple is a really lovely grotesque font. And then we've got Dharma Gothic, which, borders on illegible in certain ways. But that's cool. That's the cool thing these days. But for that's wow, everything's really nice and trendy. We've got the up, down, left, right sort of alignment of copy, and then a really trendy serif.
The one on the left reminds me of like Spotify a little bit, like in that and kind of the way it's like laid out and everything.
And this is a very trendy sort of typeface at the moment. P22 Mackinac Pro.
I think your phone probably was interrupting us a little bit because the quality is much better. Yeah, like every now and then your phone will just be like, especially if you have like Dropbox or something in there and just goes, hey, I'm going to choose 12 o'clock to just back everything up over the next
just
3
to do
hours
some
and
things.
It does stuff in the background.
There you go. Good call.
All
right. What's the choice? Where are we going with this?
The answer is softies.
Nice. I actually not to say I have a favorite child, but I actually really wanted it to be softies. So nice choice, everyone. Okay, softies it is. I have, like they do on Cook. Oh no, I've just showed off some options. No one saw that. I pre-prepared this, so it's in the CC library to carry over for use later. So that's in the brain bank, and we're good. Moving forward. I just went to the end of the document, so that's great. We're going to go back and move through. So this is good. I clicked the wrong button.
Just a question about how you're presenting this, because I've been on the receiving end, and I think I've been in the room with you when you've presented work as well, and it's a similar sort of way, and it's always very impressive. But are they completely different pages where you've got the steps coming through when you're presenting?
Yes, I've just deleted objects from different pages.
Yeah, so you make like the final one, and do you work backwards? I'm just curious about that. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's because I've seen you do it before, and it's like, this is how you present to a client a lot of the time as well. And when you've been on live before, and we were doing like, so I think it's just a really useful skill to have that very few people have, which is like how to present your work and how to tell the story. But just if people are taking note, like just, not putting all the information on the page at one time is a really good idea, because people will just read it and stop listening to you.
That's it. Yeah. So when I first showed you this document, for example, I had this one ready to go. And then ahead of today, I duplicated that page and then deleted everything back so I could present it, which seems just like a really slow, archaic way of doing things. And it kind of is, because obviously there's programs like Keynote and things to make it a bit more fancy, but when you're just looking for a quick sort of PDF way, obviously I'm in InDesign right now because we're going to be doing things live and accessing like the type boxes and colors and things like that. But if you're just going to be doing a PDF presentation, it's a really quick and easy way to make a nice step-by-step presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks.
And then, because I don't have a numeric keyboard, so I can't use the nice little page down and option button together to skip between pages. And because I'm not in full screen mode, so I can't just press the next arrow, there's a little navigation bar down here that just allows you to move to the next page, but stay on the same position.
Nice.
So I'm just clicking that rather than scrolling.
Yeah, it's just great because you're in charge of the presentation doing it that way. Like I have to follow what you're talking about because you're not showing me anything until it's relevant.
Yeah, until I'm ready to show you.
Yeah, you're the boss.
I'm like,
I get it.
Yeah.
Boss, I understand.
And then see that button right there? Like it's like next page, last page. I accidentally just clicked last page and it's annoying because they're so close to one another.
Sorry, I'm just moving our cameras. So yeah, right in the bottom left, it's very small. But if anyone wants to check that out, that's what Josie's talking about. I had my camera
and then like
covering it.
If I know something is on like page 32 that I want to show you, can just type it in and head straight there. And the page, the zoom and position of the page will stay the same.
Right.
Which is just a nice thing to do. I like doing that.
Nice.
Okay. We're up to the brief selection. Oh, there's 2 campaigns I've got on for them at the moment. So softies, I've got 2 campaigns I could possibly work on. Let's have a look at the briefs and pick one to dive into. Brief number 1, Velcro is back. It's a teaser campaign for our new Eco Velcro wallets. A summer campaign teasing our new product for autumn 2022. An eco-friendly personalized Velcro wallet. The general vibe for now should be about the lifestyle that comes with Velcro wallets rather than the wallets themselves. We want to make Velcro cool again.
Nice.
I'm here for this. I'm here for a Velcro wallet. So I guess the feeling with this one is that they're not actually ready to advertise the wallets themselves yet. They just want to kind of build a bit of momentum and excitement around the launch of the product leading up to it to get people excited about the fact that the Velcro is coming. Okay. Yeah. So, winter is coming. Like people get like scared about that in Game of Thrones. I assume I've never actually watched it.
Yeah, that's a perfect
people talk about it.
That makes heaps.
Yeah. So it's coming, but this is like the opposite. Like Velcro is coming. We're excited. Like, oh my God, I wonder what the product's going to look like. So we're just kind of like talking about it, building up that sort of reputation.
Hype. Perfect.
Building up the hype. That's the word I've been looking for.
Yeah, there's a lot of Velcro in Game of Thrones. You're totally perfect analogy.
Our second brief is titled "Are You Puzzled?"
Okay.
A self-reflective way to get yourself feeling less puzzled. It's a custom to order puzzle made out of a photo of you, designed to slow your thinking and have you sit with yourself and work through all of the pieces you need to put back together. As these will be custom, this campaign should be around the general emotions of self-reflection and slow thinking. CTA is important. So the call to action is important here, and that, you'll be sitting with yourself, reflecting on yourself and all of the different pieces that make up you, I guess. And again, this is less about the product because every product will be individual to the person and how they decide to sort of build that product for themselves, and more around the hype.
Okay, cool. So Velcro is back is ultimately going to be a product, but we're kind of focusing on the brand and it existing.
The brand, the feeling, the vibe.
And the Puzzled is like a service where you can send them a photo or a picture, or I assume any kind of JPEG or whatever, and they'll print you out a puzzle. But the idea is that it's meant to be a little bit like introspective, self-help.
Yeah, like self-help therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gamified therapy.
Gamified therapy. Let's do it. I love it.
Remember that part at the beginning where I said this is mostly nonsense?
Yeah, I'm down for it.
We're here.
That's what I'm about.
We're here. What's the vibe so far in the comments?
Okay, so from here we need to pick which one. Okay, so Velcro or Puzzled. You can just put Velcro or you can put Puzzled in the chat, and you can. We'll just basically take that. We've got to vote for Velcro. Okay, cool. Have you ever had a Velcro wallet, or when was the last time you had a Velcro wallet? Because I definitely did, I think, in primary school.
Yeah, I definitely had a Velcro wallet.
Yeah.
I think it was red with like black
I don't think they came in any other color.
trimming.
Yeah, red.
Yeah, I don't think they did. And we all got them at Big W. Like that was where they came from.
So cool, like to take your 50 cents out to get your milk. Like,
yeah, I actually, like, a friend of mine, only like in the last 6 months, we were at coffee and he got his wallet out to pay. Velcro wallet. I was
Velcro
like,
wallet.
Holy shit, you have a Velcro wallet. I love it. I saw a Velcro wallet for sale on like a cool fashion website recently as well. So, you know, the vibe's coming back. The hype is returning. Yeah.
It's looking like we're going with Velcro, by the way, but we'll give you guys like another kind of
amazing
15, whatever.
This is exciting. Softies selling Velcro wallets. It makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Johanna had a blue beige Quicksilver one. I think mine was a Quicksilver. I grew up in Cronulla, so they were a dime a dozen around there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Billabong or Quicksilver?
Or the brand that Kmart sold, the surfy knockoff brand.
Oh, like Hot.
What was it?
Hot something?
Piping Hot.
Piping
Hot.
Yes.
Piping Hot.
Yes. Wow. I haven't thought of that in a long time.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Piping Hot Velcro wallet. I always had Piping Hot pencil cases for school.
Yeah. Very cool.
And they were that weird like wetsuit material.
Yeah, why did they do that?
I don't know. Is that quite durable?
I guess so, yeah. And if they're not full, they kind of don't take up too much room in your bag. But we digress. Yeah. It looks like we're at Velcro.
We're Velcro? Fuck yes. Sorry, I'm probably not allowed to swear on here, am I?
You get one. That was it.
That's it. Okay, great. Oh, this is a message from the client in orange. We love both of these images. Happy for you to decide which to use. Great. Great. Love when this happens. We get a bit of choice here. This is nice. Sometimes we'll get a supplied image from the client. It's really hard to work with. So when we get two to choose from, it means that, you know, we might be able to pick one that's a bit higher resolution or, you know, has clear space around the sides, which means we can extend it a bit more easier for like use across more formats. What have we got to work with here? Oh, okay, nice. What's working here is the mood. So if we think about Softies as a brand, we think back to those assets. Very trendy, very cool. We think about the Velcro wallets and the vibe and the sort of fashion that we want to kind of put forward. Like low-rise jeans are coming back in. Like low-rise jeans are pictured here, and like some frayed hems, some cool tats, a good little micro fringe. Like this is trendy. This is nice. What's a bit harder here is the background is a bit complicated, so it might be hard to extend.
Okay,
just keep that in mind.
Like an observation, yeah.
But because it's, you know, it's not just a one color background.
Yeah.
So it might be harder to extend. But, you know, there are some interesting things we could do with the image. We could like deep etch the person in the image. You know, there's some things that could be done. Image number 2. Okay.
All right.
That's a mood. This is a mood. What's working here is that there's clearly an attitude that you can very quickly attach to the brand and the product and the tease campaign.
Yeah.
There's a very clear background. There's clear space on all sides, so that's quite easy to either cut out or extend. It's bright and colourful, so that's nice to work with. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. All right, I reckon 1 or 2 we can do a quick decision here. Best of 5 answers. Best of 5 replies.
Right. So we've already got. So the brand is Softies, and it's the Velcro.
Yeah.
Campaign, and this is the image that we're going to be using. So the client's given us both of these images. Said pick whichever one you want, and that's the decision that we're going to be making right now. So let us know in chat which way you want to go. Not surprised that option 2 seems to be seems to be the way we're leaning. So unless anyone is feeling very strongly about that. Yeah, it looks like it's option 2.
Option 2.
The second you showed me this image before we went live on the stream, I'm like, everyone's gonna pick the granny with the attitude. She's so cool. I want to hang out.
Amazing. So this whole shoot, there was an entire shoot done with her on Adobe stock, and all of the photos are incredible. It was really hard to pick one, but this was the winner.
Nice.
And is the winner
here for us today as well. Yeah.
Amazing. So good.
Chat saying also sounds a bit ironic, softies having this sort of attitude. Yeah, so a bit of juxtaposition happening there, which is nice.
That's great. It's a very good point. Okay, the messaging. So note from the client, we haven't decided on the headline yet. Can you make the final call and add a subhead if you think it needs it? So maybe we'll be doing a bit of copywriting when we get to the poster. When we put all the elements in together, we can kind of figure out if it needs anything extra. But let's see what they've given us. Option 1 is, do you hear that? That's interesting.
Okay.
Option 2 is, take a good look at yourself. Okay, all right. So things we've got to consider is that the brand is Softies. We're talking about a Velcro wallet. And we've got a very punchy, confronting attitude image. Do we go with a rhetorical question that makes people ponder something? There's a very nice sort of thing here with the Velcro wallet and the fact that you can hear Velcro wallets.
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah,
and that it's alluding to something that isn't actually existing yet. So there's a very nice sort of teaser thing there. But then also the attitude of take a good look at yourself could be played on really nicely. So
yeah, take a good look at yourself, like suits the image that we've chosen like super well. Like if those are the first things that you would see, like if it's on the site, you know, on a bus shelter or something, and it was just Ethel giving us the attitude, and then it's like take a good look at yourself and be like, what is happening over here? So it could have that like attention grabbing kind of thing. Whereas, yeah, do you hear that might be a little cleverer after you find out what the brand is, but who knows? What do you think? What do you think, chat? Let's see. Is this the last decision we're making?
Or the poster? Oh, no, there's one more that's part of this. Yeah, so all right, what's best of 5 out of the chat, if there's even that many responses that we're getting? How many are we getting? I'm not across it at all.
A handful. Johanna's looking after them. Looks like option 1.
Yes, nice. We like this. We like this. All right, is that the choice?
Number 1.
Number 1, do you hear that? Okay, the second part of the messaging, make sure you include all of this necessary stuff. Obviously, with a campaign, there's a lot of other messaging that comes along with that. Right. Option 1 is body copy that says, as seen on Netflix and A Current Affair. The URL, they've just said, please put our URL and our social handle. So we'll have to just Google what that is for them. And the CTA, they've written, sign up for early access, maybe add a popular sticker or something. Cool. Nice and vague, which is fine. We can work with that. Or we've got body copy, some of your favorite podcasters recommended. Nice. People listen to podcasters, literally, so that's good. URL, again, please put our URL and social handle. So we'll just have to figure out what those are. And CTAs, find out more soon. And can you add some decoration maybe? That's fine. We can do that. I guess the main difference here is like they either want a popular sticker and they want to say that it's endorsed by podcasters or by Netflix and A Current Affair. So I guess, how does the chat feel about the popular sticker versus just general decoration, and Netflix's and A Current Affair versus podcasters? Which is the preference there?
Good question. let us know. And just quickly explain a current affair to our like international watchers as well.
So, Current Affair is a television program that claims to report news and current affairs of people in the country, whether that be, you know, the person next door having a fight with their neighbor, or a politician who's done something bad. And what's very special about a current affair is that they just go way too far. They hound people, they walk up to them on the street and go, have you got a minute? We've got some questions. And sometimes they do some good journalism, but most of the time it steps over a line and it's questionable. So to be endorsed by a current affair is an interesting thing to be endorsed by. You would scratch your chin at it.
Yeah, I would see Netflix and current affair kind of endorsements. There's almost polar opposites. Definitely on other ends of the scale, that's for sure. Looks like the podcasters might have it, I think.
Wonderful.
Which would be option number 2.
Option number 2 it is. Okay. Wow. Beautiful set of things to work with. Let's begin the A3 poster in the campaign look and feel. So to do that, we're going to make a new file with a Command N. We're going to go to the print settings, and I haven't changed my preferences in InDesign yet because I recently had to re-download everything, but I'm going to make it millimeters because that's where I feel safe. And it just changed back to Pikachus.
Yeah, I don't know where the Pikachus come from.
It's just because I feel like it's acknowledging tradition. I don't know if anyone uses them anymore, but it's the original scale of type.
Oh, is it? Is that where it's from? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's what type was measured in back in the old typesetting, like wood typesetting days. So
okay, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I read about that in Mueller Brockman's grid systems book when I was at uni. I'm going to set the margins to 10 millimeters because let's assume that this poster might be printed somewhere cheap like Vistaprint or on an office printer, and they may not be able to print it full bleed. So it might crop and they might not be able to take advantage of like skinnier margins. We just don't know that. That's something that we can confirm with the client at a later date. But while we're just working on the campaign look and feel, let's give ourselves like a generous-ish margin of 10 millimeters. Like it's not too big, it's not too small, it's just your average margin. We won't worry about bleed yet because we don't know where these posters are being printed. We can deal with that later if we know it's going to be printed full bleed.
That's interesting. So like if you were going to use like Officeworks or like a more budget kind of general printer, you would want to leave more of a margin than you would if you were like a specialized like offset or digital, graphic designy kind of, printer that caters to the design or advertising kind of world.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking directly to a printer and saying like, oh, we've got tight margins, can you accommodate for that? It depends on their printer usually, and most like printing places can print with bleed because they just print. So for example, with an A3, they would just print on an oversized A3 sheet and trim it down to the A3 sheet, which is why you put things in the bleed area so they can be trimmed off and then it's like flush to the edges. But so for example, if I was just to print it on my printer here, I can't do that because I've only got an A3 sheet and it has to print within a margin. I would probably put a 12.5 millimeter margin to print at home because I don't have a good printer and that makes me feel safer. So just a bit of a safe zone. I'm going to turn off facing pages because this is one sheet and we're not making a booklet. Facing pages means you've got a cover and then you've got spreads. So we don't want that. We just want one. And I'm going to save it straight away. I've got a folder ready to go and I'm just going to make a new folder underneath this parent folder for this project. Why am I forgetting how to make folders right now? Don't know. And I'm going to call it Rollout. And I'm going to call this, I'm just going to click on a file that I've already got half named because that's done half the work for me. So this is my name, Adobe Live, December, Rollout, Roulette, and then I'm just going to do a little A3 poster underscore, and then design exploration, that's what D stands for, number 1. That's saved in the place that I want it to be saved in, ready to go, so I can just do the little Command S as I move through. Now I prepared these earlier, these little assets, so I can just drop them in from Creative Cloud Libraries, and I'll deal with the placement of them later, but this is just me getting the assets on the page that we've all decided to work with. So we went Velcro, didn't we? Yes.
Velcro, yep.
Velcro, great. I'm just going to grab all of this and make it smaller. And chuck it on 50% scale. We're probably going to have some overset text because I don't know why, but sometimes when you do that, text doesn't scale. But it did then, so that's nice. We've got Do You Hear That? And then we've got Podcasters.
And what are these actually importing as? Are they, like, were they created in InDesign and then you added them to libraries? And
yeah, so
because
because...
putting them in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so because for example, all it was here was a box with the color in it and live text, and then I grouped that. Mm-hmm. And then I hit the plus button here and added it as a graphic. So then in there, it literally is exactly what that is. Like box, right. Text boxes, and then when I dump it there, it's exactly that content again.
Cool. Just grouped as you grouped it before. You've just popped it in.
Yeah. And then we've got our image here.
Yes, she is.
So these are our assets. Let me just make those smaller as well. So I'm just using the percentage scale tool here with constrained proportions on and making them half the size. I'm not making a poster right now. I'm just laying out the tools that we've got to work with. And then this is the part that we haven't planned. So now I'm like, oh, we're an hour in. Let's make a very quick poster. Yeah?
Let's do it.
My go-to whenever I do any poster exploration is to, I'm going to have to move this our faces over that side, is to put the image full bleed in the background. That's a nice place to start.
Place to start. You don't have a blank canvas anymore, so that's always good. And you've actually
interesting thing about this image, now that we've got it here in its full glory, is we know it's landscape. So we're going to put it to the full size of the canvas and have a look at the quality of it and how it sort of crops once it's go away thing. How do I get rid of that? Go away. I need to click on the tool at the top of the screen.
Oh, is this the screen sharing, like, Zoom thing?
It's the Zoom settings.
Yeah, you can hide it. You can hide it. But I can't, we can't see it. Only you can see it. So I can't, like, over the shoulder direct you.
Oh, I can just literally click and drag it. There we go. I've used Zoom before. Go down the bottom. There we go. I don't need it down there. Amazing. Great. So not a great crop. That's fine. We've tried that.
So you mean like the aspect ratio of what we have available? Like if it's full bleed, it's cutting off her fingers.
It's cutting off, exactly. It's cutting off. What we really love about this photo is that she's flipping us not one but two birds.
So rude.
Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do here is ungroup the brand assets. And something I really like here is to, if I just am hovered or like have a text box selected and hit J on my keyboard, it will go to the text color of that box, which is really nice.
That's cool.
And then I'm going to make sure, oh yeah, okay, cool. Because I wasn't sure if CC Libraries did this, but it did because I imported the things. All the colors are already in the palette. So we love that. We don't have to add them to the swatch palette. So that's great. I'm going to copy this box containing the image, paste it in place. I've changed my paste in place shortcuts to the same as Illustrator because my brain can only hold so many shortcuts, and my fingers can only operate so many shortcuts. I've just deleted the image out of that box, so now it's just an empty box, but I'm going to fill it with one of the brand colors and start to try something a little bit different. I'm going to bring this pre-prepared box with an outline with me down to this page here. Chuck that there, make it like a bit bigger in proportion. I just scaled it.
You just turned outlines on and off again then? Is that to see the box and the boundaries and everything like that?
For this box?
Yeah.
No, so I just copied the box that already had the outline on it and brought it with me.
Yeah, but what you changed the view, you switched the view for a second there to see the.
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, okay. So I just hit W to toggle between.
Yeah.
Those to toggle between preview and I don't even know what you call them. View, preview. What are the views called?
No.
Outlines? Yeah.
Maybe.
And then I just go into there to see how thick the outline looks on an A3 page, and you can barely see that yellow outline. So I'm gonna like pop that up to maybe like 2, and then that's like a bit too thick. So I'm gonna bring it back down to 1. I'm like, yeah, cool, that works nicely. And then I'm gonna come back to the image of our Lady of the Hour, and click within the image box to make sure I get the orange outline. So I'm copying the image itself rather than the bounding box that the image is in. And if I control click on that and paste into, the image will go into that box. And then I can hit this little tool up here, which fills frame proportions. That's really hard to say. And then the image sort of crops nicely into that space. So that's sort of a quick decision to make, to be like, cool, I'm not going to do a full bleed poster. I'm going to do an inset image in the sort of brand device image box, not brand device, but brand style image box, because you get to see the full image and it's a bit better. The next quickest thing to do that you've got to work with is you've got a headline that you have to work with. So I'm just going to type that into the headline typeface.
Oh, cool.
And bring that with me. But I'm also at the same time going to bring over Softy's logo type and the URL. So on the brief part, on the please put in this extra information, when it says please put our URL in, I was going to look that up, but it's like, oh, it's already part of the brand tools. So don't have to Google it. Don't have to Google a brand that doesn't exist and find their thing. So I'm going to paste these on here.
Whenever I read the do you hear that, I read it in Urkel's voice, and I know that's wrong.
Cool.
Did I do that? And I can't get it out of my head every time I read it.
Who's Urkel?
Who's Urkel?
Who's Urkel?
Steve Urkel. Oh, I'm not that much older than. Damn, I must be. You don't know who Steve Urkel is?
I don't. I'm so sorry.
Wow. Okay. I'll send you some links. You'll be like, oh, okay, I know who that is. Surely.
I probably will. Yeah, I'm just missing the.
Okay.
Just
he had
missing the gag.
Had a catchphrase in the late 80s, early 90s or something. Where it's like, did I do that? Did you do something?
Oh, okay. It's
Johanna.
ringing a bit of a bell.
You with me? Do you know who I'm talking about? Anyway, it's not important.
Okay. All right.
It doesn't matter.
Did Flynn do that? That's the question of the day. Something I always check with text boxes, I just hit Command B and go to baseline options. I've already done this here, but I just check that it's set to cap height instead of ascent. It's typically set to ascent, which means that the type looks like this and doesn't lock to the top of the typeface. Right. Which means that if you want to set it to the top of your margin, you've got this ugly gap that you need to, that you either can choose.
It always bugs me, right? Because then I feel am I supposed to outline this and then I can't go back in time?
Nah.
Or do I just move it up and then everything's like skewed differently? Okay, cool.
Go in here, go to cap height. There's also, I can't remember who it was on Twitter, where I need to do it now. I've re-downloaded everything, but you can actually set it up as a setting to have that be your automatic bounding box setting. But yeah, so I'm going to just chuck that typeface there, but I'm going to make the box a little bit wider. Center the type in that box. I just did Command-Shift-C to center that. That's another little shortcut. You can do Command-Shift-L, Command-Shift-C, Command-Shift-R for quick alignments.
Oh, cool.
Like that.
That's useful.
Yeah, it's a good one. Once your fingers get used to it, like that's what I find with shortcuts. Like you just have to kind of get the dexterity around it, and then once you do,
it's like the muscle memory.
Exactly. And then if you think about it too hard, it's all over. I am just going to come in here and turn a few of these because they're not like there's a few. I might just chuck some tracking on the type because it's not the most legible typeface. Like everything's a little bit touchy. Like see that question mark? It's very close to the T.
Yeah.
If I hit Command K, it brings up the preferences for this document. If I go to units and increments, I can change the tracking to a smaller amount. So what I just did then, I just went to move this a little bit. If I do Option and arrow left or right, it tracks it. But that's just one tap and that's quite big. So I want that one tap to be smaller. So I come in here and just make that 5 instead of 20.
Oh, okay.
And then that should be, that's only a small bit, but that's all I wanted it to be. So that's, enough.
And does that change it just for this document, or next time you open InDesign, it'll be that 5, or is that something that you would change just depending on the situation?
I change it depending on the situation, and this would just change it for this document. So the standard setting is 20. So I typically, sometimes I don't need to do it at all, and sometimes I do. So yeah.
Nice.
I'm
By the
happy
way,
enough
everybody
with
else
that.
knows who Urkel is. So.
Oh, okay. It's just me.
Yeah.
I'll have to figure it out. That's fine. I'm good to do that. I'm just going to adjust the crop in this a little bit more. It might change it again later. But that, that will do for now. We've got, do you hear that? We're going to bring over the rest of the mandatory copy. I'm just quickly going to set it in this typeface here. So a very quick way to do that is to just highlight that copy, grab the eyedropper tool and eyedrop the typeface. It will obviously revert to white because that's what that's set in, but that's fine. And then I'll also grab Find Out More Soon. I'm just going to copy that. And then if I hold down Shift Command V and paste it in the text box that I've already got the style from, it will paste it into that style. So that's kind of all I really need copy-wise from that stuff. And then I'm going to copy that and bring it with me to the poster we're working on here, make it a bit bigger because I'll figure out the actual sizes of things in a bit once I know what I want to do. Cool. So we've got the mandatories on there, but obviously we have no idea that this is about a Velcro wallet. No clue whatsoever. But there was that part of the brief that was like, you can add something extra if you want to. So I feel like we should do that. And now there's the challenge of adding copy.
What do we add? Just Velcro wallet.
This is the fun of doing these things and not having any sort of plans for them, is that you just have to make some stuff up on the spot. So do you hear that? Well, the campaign the brief was called was like Velcro is back. So we could just make a joke of like Velcro is, we can literally just kind of be as literal as that. Or Velcro is coming, make it a bit more ominous. It doesn't have to be too deep. We can leave it like that for now and sort of just have a look at how we're feeling about the layout.
I like the yellow.
The yellow's fun. Nice and bright, just like our Lady of the Hour. And like, this is typically how I work. I'll keep fiddling around with like the image crop as I'm fiddling around with the copy, as I'm fiddling around with the layout. It all kind of just happens together like that.
Yeah.
And we might even go Velcro is coming back, and then figure out that layout a little bit later. So we've obviously got some of your favorite podcasts recommended. Find out more soon. I'm just going to separate those into 2 separate boxes.
Would you like ask the client, like, are there any specific podcasters that have recommended like Velcro, or is it just like a general kind of thing? Is that something you would ask?
I could do that. And I even might just list a few. Like if I felt that would look good in the layout, I might just put a few in there as placeholder and just say, do you know what podcasters recommend it? Because we'll swap them out. So let's say that that's happened. So that copy could change to
like some fashion podcaster or style podcaster or something.
Your favorite podcasters. I'm just remembering Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah, Joe Rogan.
He was the top streams for Spotify this year. Like, let me just go on Spotify because they posted that the other day.
He has for like, I mean, his like the most listened to podcast ever, I think.
Yep. Here we go. Call her daddy. Are we allowed to do this? Is this copyright infringement? This is not real copyright, people. This is all a joke. Okay?
I think it's fine. Is there like copyright limited to like actually just even mentioning
it
in text? Surely not.
Well, we're saying they recommend it.
Right. It's a fictional product.
It's fictional.
Velcro
it's very clear.
Aren't real.
Exactly. So we could do that and then ask the client like for 3 podcasts that actually have recommended it, so we can actually write that in there. Just like, see how much better it looks. Like instead of just saying your favorite podcast is recommended, it's actually really like nice to mention the podcasts instead to actually put them in there. So we put some as a placeholder, but if you could get us some names, that would be great. And we could also add in, because personally I feel like it needs a little bit more context. So we could write a line like Softy's personalized Velcro wallets. Something around, I don't know.
Actually, I'll tell you what, I think now is a really good time for that client call.
I did miss a call from a client before. I think they left a voicemail.
All right, let's check it out.
Yeah. Is it a video? Did they leave a video voicemail?
I don't think the video one is the one we're going with.
Okay. Which voicemail did they leave?
Velcro is back campaign client call version 3 final new. Why is that?
Amazing. Okay, let's listen
at least
to this.
It's accurate. All right, that's
let's
the
listen
one.
to the voicemail.
Okay, let's listen.
Hey Jody, Mike here from the Velcro is Back campaign. Just calling for a quick update on the copy. I spoke to my mother-in-law who did a weekend marketing course in Ballarat. She's a whiz with words, like a wordsmith. She looked at the copy and thinks we need more oomph and pizzazz. Can you add in some copy that alludes to the fact that our wallets last a long time? There are some wrong preconceptions that Velcro doesn't last as long as leather wallets, and we want to dispel the myth as we disrupt the industry. So something like Velcro will stick with you for life, or it's Velcro, not a ripoff. Or I tried Velcro today, now I'm totally hooked. If you could make those changes by the end of day, that'd be great. Okay, thanks, bye.
Incredible.
What do you think?
Incredible. great client. I love this client. Amazing. I'm just going to re-listen to the back of that because I wasn't quick enough in taking my notes. So I'm just going to, because they had some really clever copy lines in there. So I'm just going to, some very punny ones that I might just be able to put right in.
Velcro doesn't last as long as
Wait,
leather.
a bit further back.
Velcro last a long time. There are some wrong preconceptions that Velcro doesn't last as long as leather wallets, and we want to dispel the myth as we disrupt the industry. So something like Velcro will stick with you for life, or it's Velcro, not a ripoff. Or I tried Velcro today, now I'm totally hooked. If you could make those changes by the end of day, that'd be great. Okay, thanks, bye.
All right. So we've made some notes on this little client call because like voicemails are great, but honestly emails are better because you've got everything in writing and there's no chance of missing anything.
Right.
I might have to ask the client to put things in writing in the future.
Can I just give a shout out to Johanna's friend because
incredible! Holy shit!
Michael Murphy. Johanna, you can share like a link to him in the chat. It was awesome. So we thought we'd do this little client like interruption thing, and then I recorded something, and I was really proud of it. And then Johanna said, well, one of her friends can do really good voice. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, why don't they have a crack? And then he said that through, and I thought it was just amazing. And I'm super impressed. And yeah, very funny. So thank you, Michael.
That was honestly amazing. Really good. I loved it. I'm just like reeling of that from that. That was really good. All right. So the copy the client wanted in there, I'm just going to write it word for word and we can just fiddle around with it afterwards. The bits about it being like long lasting and disrupting the industry are good, but I feel like what's really good is like this, it will stick with you for life. And that, you know, Ethel's got her personalized Velcro wallet and she's totally hooked.
Get it? Because they're...
Yeah. Ethel's totally hooked. Let's do a little, it's not a rip-off.
Because they rip.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's puns everywhere.
They were written with you
for life. Fuck yes. I mean, hell yes. I'm so sorry.
You went over your quota. That's right, we're live. There's literally nothing I can do about it.
Just like beep when you feel like it's coming. Just make a beep noise. Oh, this is amazing. Okay. Great. And pizzazz.
And pizzazz. Oomph and pizzazz. Just a kind of real question about writing copy. I feel like writing copy is such a hard thing to do. And I think like a lot of visual designers and people that might get into design, like often, you know, they might not start from having any skills in that kind of area. I certainly didn't, and I don't think I'm a copywriter at all. But if I like force myself to sit down and actually write something, I can sometimes come up with something that makes sense that I'm pleased with, but I find it really, really difficult. So do you have any like tips for people or advice for me, like how you approach copywriting, whether it's something like for a post or something for a client, if the client hasn't supplied anything with you, but you've got kind of the ingredients, like any thoughts on copywriting? Because you're very, very good at it.
Oh, thank you. It's also something that I never used to do, and it's taken me years of practice and training and a lot of bad stuff to get just bits of good stuff. I guess I could show you the background of, so I did naming and tone of voice for a new company this year called Higher Ground, which is a recruitment company in the creative industry. And I truly just start with a document and I just write everything that pops into my head. If it's bad, if it's good, if it's incomplete, whatever. And then I just do rounds and rounds and rounds of it until I get it to a place where I'm feeling like it's substantial. And then I start to sort of build a bit of a more professional document, and finesse it from there. But I think what I've learned over the years is that you just put something down, whatever down. And I've got like reference books. Like I love to look at like the idioms dictionary. I've got this really old dictionary of cliches that I just flick through every now and then. That just is nice
Never heard of that before.
I picked it up at like a market once, and it was quite fun to just look at the definitions of cliches, but it's a very good book to pick up and just start thinking of like puns. And so Higher Ground, I did the naming for that business, and obviously it's a play on the term higher ground spelled differently. But yeah, I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek at the backgrounds of this and how many different so there was a Q&A before all of this, and there's like naming drafts, naming finals, chosen name, and early copy thoughts, copywriting. So this went from naming to doing like top line copy for their business, and then doing all of the copy for their website and everything. And, literally just wrote down whatever words.
Wow.
Before it actually started to like turn into something more substantial. And then once it did turn into something more substantial, like writing sort of sentences or paragraphs that like went with that, and then keywords that kind of matched those things. And then for like the actual copy that goes with the chosen name, like sort of thought starters for headlines and about copy and like copy about the founder. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that is draft and is bad and is never sees the light of day. And I feel like I'm always looking at sort of reference material, and even I read a lot, and I always have a pen in hand no matter what type of book I'm reading, and I'm constantly like bookmarking or dog-earing pages in books, even if I find like a passage I may never look at again, but I just think it's written in an interesting way, like just little things like that. I'm kind of constantly looking to interesting ways that words are put together. So yeah, I think it's definitely something that I think everyone can get better at because it's a practice skill. I do also think that there's some people who are just so wonderfully talented at it. Like, Kat Wall, copywriter. She does a lot of amazing brand copy. Like, she's just so incredibly talented at it. But I do also think that a lot of people have that sort of skill to develop and can get better at writing as well.
That gives me hope. Johanna's asking, do you write in pen in your books?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. I like the pen. I just thought of something that could be written here. Ethel says, up yours to leather. Oh, I just got rid of something. What did I just get rid of? Oops, I was meant to.
Got to hold that option.
Yeah, I forgot to do the option hold. I just took the name that you gave her and ran with it.
Yeah, I realized that. I hope Ethel is okay. Not a lot of Ethels being born these days, are there?
Yeah. Ethel says, up yours to leather and get hooked on Velcro.
It's good. I like it. Rin also had 10 out of 10 podcasters find it catchy. That's good.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing that. That's going in. Find it catchy. It needs a little bit of a tweak. like have caught on to the trend. Like, because find it catchy is like refers to like a song or like a we'll come back to it, but that works. Okay, all right. I'm
it's
just gonna.
catching on. Yep, that could work. It's catching on.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
That was from chat. I don't want to take credit for that.
Thanks, chat. This is good. There we go. We've got a little subhead there. Just gonna add some columns to this to help me. I love a little 6 column. The 2.5 gutter.
I have a confession, like many years ago, I didn't realize you could add columns after the fact when you had a document. And so I would occasionally, be like, oh, 3 columns isn't working. I'll start from scratch. When I was putting together. And I did it when I was doing a prospectus for a college, like that was like 60 pages long or something. And I was like, yeah, this really needs to be 6 columns because they kept adding content, as you can imagine. And so what was like this really nice 3-column like layout, you know, and then it was like, oh no, we need all this other information in there as well. I'm like, well, I felt like it needed to be 6 column, just the way that I was ruining this design. And I redid the whole thing, and then many years later I realized, oh, you can just go in and change the columns. Cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
Life changing.
It's like a whole weekend.
Woo! What was happening there? Okay, I really have to hurry up now. Okay, all right, we're gonna finish this poster in the next 10 minutes, and it's not gonna be great, but it'll do. We're gonna mention that it's eco here somewhere. Maybe eco and Velcro kind of rhyme.
Well, that's true.
Also, I'm not claiming that eco Velcro exists. I have no idea. I did not research this at all. So we're just gonna roll with the punches. Roll in with the punches. And I'm gonna outline this type because we're running out of time. And there's still a whole chapter 2 to this. Eco Velcro is here. Ethel says up yours to leather. Comma, get hooked on Velcro.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll choose a different weight for this one. What does bold look like? No, too bold. We don't like it. Let's go medium. Yeah, that'll do. And we will expand that, and we might put that in. I'm forgetting what the brand colors are. We don't have a green. It's purple, yellow.
Oh, that's good. From chat, Ren says you cannot spell Velcro without ECO, like eco.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, let's save it in the bag for future assets.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. And then we've got a wallet that will stick with you for life.
How many like subheadings and things like that would you usually have? Like how much is too much and how much is not enough?
When you have a client who wants 7 headlines, there's no such thing as too much for them. Because honestly, you can sort of sometimes design your way around it. Because technically these are all sub headlines and you just lay it out so it's like fine.
Right. And it's fine because you can make them different weights and different sizes, so you kind of
you can kind of like
importance to, well, I don't know, like different versions of seeing it. Like you see the top title and the bottom one, like when you first see it, like in the first second or so, and then you read the others if you're hooked and interested, and like to break it up in that way.
Exactly. All right, I'm parking over the live type here so I can just come and grab it later. By the way, that's a little like thing I like to do because it means I don't have to like completely retypeset it later, so I can outline it and make it work how I want it to for this poster.
So sorry, so you just keep like
keep the non-outlined type on the pasteboard.
OG type.
Yeah.
Outline it on the thing.
Maybe we'll put that piece of copy there. No, that doesn't make sense. You want to read that one first. Do you hear that? And then I'm going to change increments again. So my cursor key increments. Don't know why 0.353 as the automatic one. I don't know. I think it's a hangover from a Pika translation to millimeters. I think that's what it is, but I'm changing it to 2.5, which is the same as the gutter measurement I just set. And then maybe we won't use this one yet. Ethel says, up your slider, get hooked on Velcro, and then my automatic margins have done most of that work for me just there. We want to make that crop a little bit further out because that's fun. And then
oh, it's so funny. It's so funny that you just put softies in there because I was just thinking like down the bottom, like the brand is down the bottom. It's been quite a lot since, you know, until we will actually see like the logo or know where to go or anything like that. So it's so funny that you just put softies in the copy.
Oh my God. My brain was like, All right, it's catching on. I'm going to make that medium, not a ripoff. We're going to make that medium. And we're going to make this copy a bit smaller.
And this is an A3 poster, right? Like that's the
A3
aspect ratio and what we're expecting. Like this is like a paste up that you see, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's similar to a paste up. All paste ups are different. We're going to delete find out more soon because that's generic and boring. We can do better than that. Not a rip-off. Cheaper than Gucci. Obviously. Let's just put that for now and see if the client approves it. And then I don't love this layout, so we're going to change that. And we're going to recommend they don't put their social media in on a poster because people don't tend to type in a social media handle from looking at a poster.
Yeah. How far away are we, or has it happened yet? I had a client like say, cool, can we just put a QR code like that we have with checking in now that everyone's used to it? Is that happening?
It's actually a pretty common thing, and I actually quite support it because
it didn't used to be a thing, though. It used to be crazy.
It did not.
Because it didn't used to be inbuilt into phones, so you had to have like a third-party app to actually read a QR code in the first place. Unless you, I'm talking about iPhones. But now it exists, and it's been used so widely, like every store you go in to check in and everything like that. It's, I don't know, I feel like it makes sense now, whereas I feel like it didn't like 2 years ago.
Definitely. And then, because I actually feel like the brand should be bigger. You know, this is brand awareness zone. We're building awareness of Softies as a brand. So we really need to make that brand really nice and big, which the client will always love.
They love it.
Oh, I spelled that wrong. Recommend it. They recommend it.
That's how the kids say it.
And then we'll make the URL smaller down here.
If you were struggling for real estate, would you like take out the Softies logo and just have softies.com? Does that ever happen? Like
For sure.
Is ever like the only thing we want people to do is go to the website? So even get rid of our logo because the name is in the URL. You know what I mean? Does that
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we can do that right now. Let's do it.
Especially since it's in the same, like it's a font. I guess that doesn't happen that often, right? Where a font is the
so we take advantage of it where we can. I'm gonna make this type
I actually like how the type's kind of going around the F.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it's. Don't listen to me.
Well, it was a little bit. It was a little bit messy.
Yeah.
And I kind of like these are not weighted nicely, like as in the lengths of these two bits of copy.
Right.
But that's a bit better now. And then we've got enough yellow. I kind of want to put this in yellow though. And then space that a little bit differently. And then, okay. I think we're just going to say that's it for the poster. That will do. There's not a lot of exploration happening here, but that's not the point of this.
It's very cool. I'll just give you a comment from Rin as well in chat. It's a good idea. It's like another idea if it was an online banner, you could have the ECO in Velcro animate or change color to emphasize the transition and stuff. And that's a really like great idea and like an interesting point. Do you discover that? Do you think about that sort of stuff like while you're designing? Like you might be designing the poster and you're like, oh, if this needs to be like animated or, you know, this little nugget kind of popped into your head, oh, if they ever ask me to do a display ad or they want something done for social media or something, I've already got like a thread of an idea. Does that happen often, or like is it usually at that point, like as you're designing it, things start to appear?
I feel like, yeah, as you're designing, things sort of reveal themselves. Like you don't have all the ideas at the very beginning, like they sort of come during the process.
Yeah, cool. Like going through the
and
motions,
sometimes you have the like and sometimes, and like I personally don't know how to animate, so that's something I would be like, can you do this, to someone who does know how to animate. And sometimes you have that thought earlier on, and then you kind of want to make everything else work around it.
Nice.
I think that, look, this isn't my best work by any means, but we're going to have to say stop at some point.
We do. We only have a limited amount of time, so don't be too hard on yourself. We got to move along.
We do.
I think it looks cool.
Look, it's
like a magazine
thing.
cover. Bit more.
Oh yeah.
It's like magazine style, like almost like what am I thinking of?
I'm going to do one quick variation on this that's just in my brain right now, where I just delete that and that, and then this in here. Put that up there. Bye. Down here.
Feeling nervous that you just delete everything and just doing this.
Oh, I think I did.
Save.
Oh, I did. Oh no, I didn't. It's there.
Oh, you
okay.
I didn't
yeah,
notice.
We're good.
I didn't notice, and I thought you were just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like delete like all the work that I.
No, I duplicated the page.
Okay. I was gonna ask you. I was like, what's going on? What happens if you go back? What happens if you change your mind?
No, this is much more of an elusive sort of situation.
Yeah. Because like in this situation, you've got a client where they're like, hey, cool, I want all this stuff on the poster, but you might be designing the poster, be like, it's getting pretty busy, like maybe I should present a couple of different versions, just say, hey, here's a version with all the stuff on it. It is quite busy, but it's all there. That's what you asked for. However, here's like a much cleaner version. Maybe that in certain situations that might be better to go to if it's just an awareness one, or you could do like a sequential if they're being posted up or something like that, or
exactly.
Good to have options. What's your thoughts on like giving options to clients? Like, you know, is it the standard
Yeah.
like three versions, or do you like to go for 2? I know we did 2 today, which worked really well. But when you're IRL clienting, do you have a
Yeah, definitely versions. Like if you
Yeah.
would be happy with any of them actually being in the world, then give the versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I support versions. Versions are good. Like a version, you know. Like, so all the info's on that one, less info on this one, really impactful. And then, you know, you could even go a step further and put this all the time at the top, image at the bottom. Even, get on the bottom. Put that on margin because that's being silly. Could even switch this out to like a purple background and make. No, I don't like that actually. I take back. Could even be, you know, like that. Okay, there we go. We've got 3 poster versions. That will do. I'm going to group these and chuck them in the libraries.
Cool.
There we go. There's one. This is my favorite poster of the 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, it's probably the one.
God, this is so silly. I do love genuinely that it could have gone in such a different direction. Like, it could have been that's wow. It could have been the other photo.
Yeah.
But here we are. Okay. That's that. That's done.
Nice.
Okay, cool. So we've got half an hour left. We're going to design as much as we can as a rollout of that in this time. I'm just going to chuck one of the posters that we've done into this box here as a little recappy of what we've done here. Look at that. Look at that beauty.
Looks good.
Isn't she beautiful? Ethel says, up yours to leather, get hooked on Velcro.
Nice.
Far out. Chapter 2, the rollout. Cool. We've got same situation happening. Option 1, option 2. We're going to make very quick decisions. The way we're going to choose this is first answer to come through in the chat is what we're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah? We okay with that?
Ready for that? I'm here for it.
Cool. So the poster campaign viz is great. Now we need it in a bunch of different formats. Is there any way we can make something interesting for Instagram out of the poster? So we either are going to do an Instagram stories poll series of 3 with open and end frames, or an Instagram feed carousel series of 5. So, you know, when you go on an Instagram stories and someone's put up some polls and you participate in them.
Oh yeah,
We've
that's
got
like a new thing, right?
Yeah, so we either make one of those or we just do an in-feed thing, like, you know, photo dumps sort of thing.
Yeah.
5 of those.
Okay.
What's it going to be?
So yeah, first answer is the direction we will go. Let us know. Instagram stories poll series of 3 with open and end frames. What does it mean with open and end frames?
So we have an introduction. So we go,
Right.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, and then you're designing 3
Yeah.
actual designed kind of things, and then it'll be like logo or CTA at the end or something.
Exactly.
Right. There's like a 30-second delay from the stream, so it always takes a while. Carousel.
Carousel. Okay, let's go. Instagram feed size. We're going into web. So we'll be working with pixels. We're going to go 1080 by 1080. I know this because you just specs get burned in your brain after a while. And I'm going to set margins to 50. We might change these once we get in there and play around with things. That might be a bit too big, but it's a good place to start. No facing pages. That's where we're at. I'm going to go straight into pages and untick allow document pages to shuffle. This means that I can make 5 pages and make them hug like this. So then I can look at it as if it's the carousel, which is nice. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the poster and just save it straight away. And then just call that IG carousel. And then I'm going to dump in one of the posters to start with and ungroup it while it's on the pasteboard, because otherwise it will yell at me. There we go. It's like, this will cause one or more objects to leave the pasteboard. Like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, fine, I won't do that. Sorry, InDesign. And there we go. We've got a background for all of them. And the reason I put all the pages together is because, you know, when you're in a carousel and the images literally like sit like butted up against one another.
Yeah.
I designed them next to each other that way because it means that you can sort of spill things over one another, or at least make sure that they're coherent.
Yeah.
Which is just a very easy way to do things. We've got our main bits of messaging, which we know that we've got to work with, which is nice. We'll probably put the URL at the end. The good thing about doing the poster first is you've got your main pieces of messaging and the order in which, you know, you want to communicate those messages sort of sorted out. So then when you move into anything that has a linear flow, you can sort of like spread it out and then work with it from there. With things that like go with imagery, you kind of want to keep that stuff together and play around with it a bit. So you kind of just want to make sure things work together. So this technically doesn't really work. So you might split it out. You might do like a really ominous first slide, and, you know, they might want the word mark on everything. So we could go really big and loud and keep things, you know, top aligned. Like this, for example. I'm just going to do it really quickly in that fashion.
That's cool. So it makes sense. So it's like if you've designed a poster where it's like you want people to read it like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're doing carousel, you can just start with that, like 1, 2, 3, 4 across, and then play around with it and then see what it's like. Do you ever like save these to your phone and like swipe through to see like what it's like, or send
I do, yeah,
and make a draft or something? Because I find like, you know, it is getting into the nitty gritty detail of it, because we all understand it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but at the same time, sometimes like the action of sliding or how you actually slide halfway and you can see both at the same time might not be, you know, might work with the design or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Definitely.
I guess it's like basic prototyping, right? Like, is there any prototyping that you might do before you're like, cool, I've nailed it?
Yeah, and I definitely always send it to my phone to make sure all the type size is legible. And also Instagram carousels don't always appear in the order you want them to, if that makes sense. So sometimes you might scroll past someone's carousel and it shows you the third image first. So it's good to consider that each asset makes sense on its own without the context of swiping in the correct order. Knowing that most people, or like not most people, that hoping that I guess people will scroll through and look at everything, but it's good to consider the fact that that might not happen. So like, does each tile communicate at least a message if someone was to see it on its own?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess if someone screenshots it and shares it somewhere else or something, or
and like then also there's that feature where people can just share one slide to their Instagram stories. Like, would that make sense if someone shared that on their own? So does that one tile have enough information for someone to do that? So it's why most people want their logo on every tile. So if it's shared out of context, there's at least, a brand there.
Yeah.
Things like that. So that's usually like the safest way to go. I'm gonna up the weight on this outline a bit because pixel size versus the paper size just meant that it's a bit smaller.
It's almost so small that you can't really see it. So it's that whole like, is it there or not?
Is it there? Yeah. Hello, it's me.
Outline.
Exactly. All right, so we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna do some very mysterious tiles to begin with. And then the middle one is gonna be this, because the first one, do you hear that? Softies.com. If that gets shared on its own or if it gets seen on its own, it's mysterious. People might be interested in it. Eco Velcro is here, Softies.com. Straight up product placement, very literal, very fine to live on its own. Ethel says up yours to leather, get hooked on Velcro. Image, Softies.com, also fine to be on its own. That's great. I'm just going to tweak the type a little bit. Come on, there we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this poster and grab this stuff here, because the last slides are good for CTAs, very, very functional messaging. And that is advertising. That is, that's what this is all about. And we will probably change the formatting of some of these. We might add in another word or two, again, for that contextual sort of note that we were talking about before. So in context of the poster, when it says Softies new wallets that will stick with you for life, like that doesn't make sense here on its own. So we would change it to Softies new Eco Velcro wallets will stick with you for life.
Yeah, that makes more sense if you just saw it by itself, right? So it's a bit more literal.
Yes. I'm going to actually just use that same type size. And then what we might do is each of them have to be different because it's a... And then we might just go trendy on the endy,
Trendy on the endy.
Like if we run out of things to do because we have no time, then people love a shared trendy post.
Nice.
Make that a little bit bigger. We might go wham there. Where's our center? I'm really bad at judging. There it is. Where center is. Not judging in general. I'm good at that. Woo! And then we can just evenly distribute these friends. Nope, not to the page, to each other. And make them yellow for something different. There we go. We've got Instagram carousels. That's done. I'm gonna, again, group these and unlock the background. Group them together. Actually, what I'll do instead is a quick way to export these and get them on your phone is I usually make a little draft exports folder. And then I'll make a folder in there called IG Carousel. Make sure it's JPEG. I go yes to that. I go not spreads because that will export it as one long thing. I go pages and 72 DPI. Export.
Nice.
And then
way to do it.
That would put that in that folder there. And then, do you hear that? Are these showing up? I'm just spacebar. Okay, cool. Yep. Eco Velcro is here. Ethel says up yours to leather, get hooked on Velcro. Softies new Eco Velcro wallets will stick with you for life. It's catching on, not a rip-off.
I like
Softies,
how it's
softies,
got, like,
softies!
so many like taglines in there. Couldn't decide on
So
what
many.
about them.
Like, puns galore. And then I would just airdrop those to my phone. Boo. Oh, no, I'm on airplane mode for the sake of the stream, so that won't work. But that's
okay.
usually what I do, and then I check.
You could, just get it to your phone. However, you could put it on Dropbox. You could airdrop it. You could. Well, that's it. But you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's really cool.
Next up is out of home. So we've got our pick for some paste ups in Newtown or a rail billboard. What do you reckon? So,
oh, wow, there's more.
paste
I thought we were wrapping up. There's only like 10.
Yeah, this is going to be quick. This is going to be quick. We might.
Okay.
I've also got.
I'm going to make the call then.
You're going to do it. Okay, paste ups. So 4-sheeter double poster or roadside digital billboard.
Roadside digital billboard.
All right. Hell yeah. I actually prepared this spec earlier because I did. It's here. We don't need to rename this file. That's a waste of time. I'm like,
there's no time.
File. This is a digital file. It's landscape. Look how different that spec is to what we're used to dealing with.
Yeah.
That's fine. We've got this. We're professionals. Good thing to note about roadside digital billboards is they have to be static. Cars will be driving past them, so information has to be clear. It has to be minimal. It has to be straight to the point. It must not be political. I mean, to a point. Like, there are a lot of rules with sort of roadside and rail and
really,
all
they
of
can't
that
be
fun
political.
stuff.
Just as a side.
There's so, for example, like rail billboards and things like that, like they can't feature really specific sort of political messaging.
Really?
That's
obviously
it depends on
in
in
Australia, right? Like different in other countries.
Oh yeah.
Sure, but,
yeah, it depends on what the messaging is. Like it can be for a political campaign, but it depends what it's saying.
Right.
Like there's very specific levels of approval.
Yeah.
But for example, this is too much information for a roadside billboard.
Okay.
Because I mean, you could put it on there, but the chances of it being read properly, are not high. Because people are in their cars, they're driving past.
Yeah.
Probably.
Friends like billboards because we need Ethel flipping off passers-by. Yeah. Do you think our Ethel would make the cut?
Honestly, probably not. We would probably just have to stick to messaging.
Right. Do you know why? It's totally fine if you don't. But like, yeah, no. Jana's asking, no political messaging because lessening road rage. Is that the reason why, or is it some other reason?
I know that with trains, they just can't seem to be seen to be aligned with anything in particular.
Oh, right, because
if that makes sense.
It could be, yeah, okay, because it's like a government state-run thing. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Are we covering up Ethel's hands?
Yes, we are. We are going to put the logo in a trendy shape. So we're gonna go navy, not navy. Whoa, why did I call that navy? That's definitely not navy. We're gonna cut that and paste it in there, and then we're gonna make that shape long enough to have, oops. Make that yellow. And then we can probably fit this on here. Because you know what she's doing under there. You know what she's up to.
This reminds me of like when someone has like some sort of semi-nude photo for Instagram and they put the flowers in front or something.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh my God. And we can probably like crop her off so there's only like one of them. And we might even do a half margin here for the image. Oops. Yes, I still make little boxes. for
Is
measuring.
this for measuring? I do this too. I feel every time I do it, I feel like a fraud.
No, half boxes for measuring
Yeah.
is. It's
Oh,
just
I
the way
feel
it's always
vindicated.
gonna be.
I still do that. I'm like, I
Yeah,
know that it's like
best
I'll
way.
do like 50 pixels by 50 pixels, and I'll just shove it in the corner, and then I'm like, yeah, this is my measurement tool, and I'll often have a
Yeah.
little box like off the side, where I'm like, everything that I that's close to this is going to be exactly 50. I'm very pleased.
Yeah, it's the only way to be. We'll crop in a bit more now. You got to see like a bit of it. Like, whoops, come back, Ethel. Come back, Ethel. No, Ethel. Okay.
Which finger is it? Who knows? It could be any finger. I feel like the up yours makes it very clear though. The type.
Yeah, and up yours is fine. We're not saying the F word. I didn't say it.
Well done.
Oh, that looks bad. That's gonna be tighter. Not that tight. I mean, I'm so sorry. I'm bad with that stuff. I said stuff.
It's really funny. Like very close friends of ours just had a kid, and they're just starting to like realize that how much you can't swear around them, and they're like I swore all the time until I had kids, and I didn't realize how often I would swear, and then they're going through it now, and they're just like, oh man, I didn't realize how much I actually swear until I like realized I wasn't allowed to anymore.
All right, I think we've got a billboard.
Nice.
Actually, I'm gonna bring that in.
Good. We got about 5 minutes left, by the way. We are getting to that time.
That's perfect because I've got a solution. So, all right, billboard's done.
Nice.
Group. And then add that in there. Graphic. Great. Billboard's done. Next up is, you know what? Digital banners. That's quite an effort.
I don't think we're going to do that in
deliberate.
I don't think we're going to do that in 5 minutes.
So we'll get these to you by end of day Wednesday next week.
It's great.
Yeah.
I like that you had that pre-made.
Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah, all done apart from the banners, and that's fine because we've done this. We've done that, and I'm just going to chuck a 30 on that. We've done this. I'm going to chuck them all in. We've done this one. So many posters. Not so many, there's 3, but we've got our billboard. Look at that attitude. Love her. And then we've got our carousels. What's that shortcut again? Nope. Oh, I'm forgetting it. I'm thinking about it too much. That's fine. Whatever, I'll just do that.
I let the muscle memory take over.
I've done this in the wrong order. How did that get out of order? Okay, weird. Huh?
We were just talking about that, how sometimes Instagram does it in the wrong order, and now you've done it in the wrong order.
I just don't know how that happened. Oh well. Okay.
Nice.
Look what we did. Oh my god, I'm tired.
It's quite a marathon, like two-hour
Done.
session of designing, especially like on a multiple things and on a deadline and all that sort of stuff. Well done. That was awesome.
Far out.
Had lots of fun. That was super duper cool.
That's so funny. Also, like the different ways that could have gone.
Yeah, from choosing different elements, it's really cool. But yeah, it's live. Again, like big shout out to the client call.
That was excellent. That was really good.
Lots of fun, Michael Murphy. That was heaps of fun. So thanks for that. But yeah, this is our last stream for the year. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in the new year. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for tuning in. Everyone. Special shout out to Rin and Johanna for being very active in chat today, and all of you for watching. Thank you so much, Josie. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Session today. Thanks for finishing the year of Adobe Live with us here. It's so lovely to hang out with you as always.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
I think we do a version of this again next year because it's good just to hang out with you and pick your brain and kind of go through the process, like especially the branding process. And this interactive version is just a lot of fun. So
speed round.
So much. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I don't know. We'll hopefully see you sometime.
Happy rest.
Happy rest. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. Hope you're all well. We'll see you in the new year. Thank you again, Josie. And see you, lady. Thanks for joining us at Adobe Live.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.